Hey everyone, so we're going to extend our knowledge of proportions to tax and tip today. Alright, so we're going to find tax and tip using proportions, and then we're going to find total price, and the important thing to remember is when we're finding total prices after tax or tip, you have to add the tax or tip to the original price. So really quickly before we actually start these things, let's talk about what a tax and what a tip is. So when we're talking about these kind of taxes, we're looking at sales taxes. So if you notice, if you go into a store and you buy something that costs $1, when you go to the register, you're not actually going to be paying $1, right? Each state has a sales tax, and it's a certain percentage of the price of the item. So in Virginia, it's about 5.5%. It's a little bit more. But so when you go to the register, you have to pay the tax on top of the item, okay? For tip is something that you pay at restaurants, or maybe if you get your hair cut, or to like a valet parking person. It's if someone does a good job for you, you actually give them extra money, and it's, on top of your total bill. So if you go out to eat and your bill was $40, you want to leave them a tip, somewhere between 15 and 20%. And so you're going to have to actually pay extra money to get these tax and tip for the price. Okay, so let's look at our first one. Lucy and Jones went to Target and purchased dog treats totaling $40. If the tax rate is 3%, how much was the total amount that they paid? Okay, so this is actually put on your paper for you, this proportion. It's part to whole, so we talked about that with the percent word problems. And here, our part is the tax or the tip, depending on the question. Sometimes we're finding tax, sometimes we're finding tip, but you find them the same way. And the whole is our original cost. How much did it cost to buy the thing? And then, of course, our percents always go over 100. Always, always, always. So in this case, when we're filling in our proportion, we don't know what the tax is, right? The tax on this side of our proportion is looking for the actual money amount of the tax, and we don't know what it is. But we know the original cost was $40. Let me zoom in for you guys. See a little bit better. Okay, so we know our original was $40, and then we're paying a 3% tax, right? Our tax rate is 3%, so that's why we put the 3 over 100. Okay, so now we're just going to cross multiply. When we do that, we're going to get 100 times x is 100x. 40 times 3 is 120. Then we need to get x by itself, so we're going to divide by 100 on both sides, and that's what this is going to show underneath here. Divide by 100, divide by 100. And when we do that, we get x by itself, and then 120 divided by 100 is 1.2. So this here is our actual tax amount. We're going to be paying $1.20 in taxes. So now if we're trying to find the total amount, which is what they want to know, what's the total amount, you're going to take that tax that you found, the $1.20, and you're going to add it. So our original price was $40 plus $1.20. We're going to actually end up paying $41.20. Okay. When we're reading these problems for tax and tip, we're going to have to be very careful. Sometimes, like this one, they want the total amount, and sometimes they just want the tax, and sometimes they just want the tip, not the total price that you paid. Other times, they might even ask you for the percent that you're missing. Like they'll tell you the tax or tip and the original, and then you have to solve for what percent it was. And we'll see some of those down below. Okay, let's look at number 1. Okay, for this one, I highlighted the important part. Okay, here's our original price of $90.50. Our tax rate is 4%, and we want to find the amount of tax paid. So we're not going to have to add at the end. We're just solving our proportion. So here's our proportion, tax over the original, always, always, always. Here, we don't know our tax, right? But our original was $90.50, and our tax rate was 4%. So there's our proportion. Okay, we're going to cross multiply from here. 100 times x is 100x. 90.5 times 4 is 362. And again, we're going to have to divide by 100 on both sides. Okay, so that's what that's going to show. And then we would get x is equal to 3.62. Okay, so since we're just looking for the tax, that's our final answer. Our final answer is $3.62. That is the tax. Okay, this one, we're going to find the tip and then find our total bill. So our bill was $90.50 and our tip rate was 20%. Find the total bill. So first, let's set up our proportion. We have tip over the original. Our tip, we don't know what it is, but we know our original price is $90.50, so that's going to go on the bottom of our proportion. And then our tip rate is 20%, so we're going to put 20 over 100. Then we're going to cross multiply. Okay, so we would get 100x equals 90.5 times 20 is 1,810. We divide by 100 on both sides, and we would get x is equal to 18.1, but we're not done. We're looking for the total bill here. So this is just our tip. It's not the actual total. So what we have to do, we have to take our original $90.50, add $18.10, and then we get $108.60 for our total bill. Next, we're going to go on to number 3. Lee purchased a book at Books A Million for $19.50. The tax rate is 6%. What did Lee pay for her book, including tax? Okay, so here we're looking at the tax out of the original. So we don't know what the tax is, right? So that's going to be our x over the original of $19.50. And then our tax rate is 6%, so we're going to put 6 over the 100. Okay, we're going to cross multiply. We would get 100x is equal to 117. Then we would divide by 100 on both sides. When we divide by 100, we're going to get x is equal to 1.17. Okay, but here we're looking for how much did Lee pay, including tax. So we're not done. This is our tax. Our tax is $1.17, but to figure out how much Lee paid, it would be $19.50 plus the 1.17. So it is $20.67. Okay, number 4. Joy's family went to Ruby Tuesdays for dinner. The bill came to $79.75. If they want to tip 20%, how much tip should they leave? And what would the total amount paid, including tip, be? Okay, so we're actually answering both questions, right? First, they want to know the tip, and then what would be the total. So we're going to answer both. Okay, so here we're going to find the tip out of the original, which we don't know what the tip is, but the original is $79.75, and then it was 20% out of 100. We're just going to cross multiply just like we've been doing. So 100 times x would be 100x. 79.75 times 20 is 1,595. Divide by 100 on both sides, and then we would get 15.95 is equal to x. So when they asked us what was the tip, that would be our answer. Our tip is $15.95. So that's the answer to the first question. But then they also asked what would the total amount paid be. So we're going to take this, and remember we're adding, always adding for tax and tip. So you're adding it to the original. So here's our original, add the tip, and then our total after everything is $95.70. Okay, our last one that we're doing together, number 5, says Sarah bought a DVD player that cost $55. The sales tax is $3.30. What is the tax rate? This one is actually different from all the ones we've done before. So if we look at our original proportions that we're setting up, we are always doing tax or tip over the original. And then in this case, we're going to use tax because that's what we're finding, but we're finding tax rate, right? That's actually the percentage over the 100. So our x is in a different spot this time. Here we know that the sales tax was $3.30 and that the player cost $55, but then we want to figure out what the percent is. So this is what our proportion is going to look like. Our variable is actually over 100 instead. So then we're going to cross multiply. 55 times x is 55x. 3.30 times 100 is 330. And this time we're dividing by 55 on both sides to get rid of this 55 in front of our x. When we do that, we get x is equal to 6. So if they ask what's the tax rate, it is 6%. Okay, so remember we're looking for the percentage, so we're going to put that percent right on our answer. Okay, on the back of this page there are 5 questions and some of them have multiple parts, but you're going to try them and get them checked, and once you're done you can move on to the next thing.